Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get into this carburetor here so we can see the reads. So I'm just going to pull the subframe off so I can take this whole air box off. So I'm just going to start by removing these. These are 12 mils. That one's different. That's great. But this one over here, yeah, see, this one is a 12 mil. So we're going to just go ahead and remove all these. And then we'll pull our subframe off. Now we can take our screwdriver and just right there. There's a little, oh, that looks stripped. That's great. But we should be able to get it off. Definitely not. That's so stripped. But we'll try to just pull it off here. Let's see if we can just... Oh, well, that's just awesome. Doesn't seem like that's going to come off very easily. Maybe. Oh, here we go. There we go. Just got this part off. Now there's our carburetor. Looks pretty good. The slide in there. Looks pretty clean. We're definitely going to clean this air box off. Set that there. We'll clean all that up. But there we go. I got our subframe off in our air box. Now we got to remove that one that isn't stripped right there. And then we can get our whole carb out. Take our screwdriver here. We can remove that maybe. Oh, that was very loose. Alright. Now we should be able to pull our carb off. Yeah, that boot's cooked. I'm gonna have to get a new boot for this. Alright, well, let's get this carb taken off. Alright, we just got this carb off. It's very clean. But man, it was on there, dude. Like, it hasn't been off in a while. But we got the carb off. This thing's very clean. For some reason, the bowl is very loose on there. It's not very tight. But dude, this PWK is really clean. Yeah, we're gonna have to replace that boot. You see how like torn it is? That's bad. But we're just gonna let this carburetor sit there for a second. We'll take that carb apart and see what's like in there in a little bit. But we're gonna take this boot off for now. These are all 8 mils. And then you'll be able to get this boot off, then your reeds cage will come out. And then you can look at the reeds too, because we don't know if we need new reeds or not. There's V-Force 3s, that's what's on here. So we're gonna see what's in there, but let's remove all these with 8 mils. Alright, we just got all those bolts off, and this thing is cooked. It's ripped right there from the outside. This thing was definitely having an air leak from this. Not good. We're gonna have to get a new one of those, but for now, set that up there. Now we can pull out reeds out. Oh yeah, those are V-Forces. Reed pedals, maybe. Let's see if we can see any light through these. No, not really, actually. I think those reeds are good. Yeah, those are real V-Forces. Dang, look at those. Those things are pretty sweet, carbon fiber reed pedals. Anyways, I think the reeds are good. Pretty sweet. I don't see any air through there, so that's good. So we'll be able to put this back on. But where's the gasket at? There is no gasket on here. I'm assuming there's supposed to be a gasket. I don't know, but I'm guessing. There wasn't even a gasket on that one. It was all just mounted up. Maybe you don't have to have a gasket, but yeah, there's literally no gasket. There you can see in there a little bit. You can see the crank in there. Well, I'm gonna check over the piston here in a second, but nice. At least we know the reeds are good. So let's look in there and see how the piston looks. Should be good. So that's very strange. These are supposed to have a gasket, right? There's no gasket there. It's missing the gasket that goes this on, and it's missing the gasket that goes on to the actual motor, to these. So That was probably not good. That was a huge air leak. Not that the motor was running, 'cause it doesn't have an exhaust. But when it was running, if they had no gaskets when it was running, then that's not good, because it seemed like this didn't come off in a while. So let's hope they didn't run it like that for a while. But the reed pedals look good, so that's good. But we're gonna have to order a new one of those. But let's take this slide off of this carb so I can take this carb on the bench and take it apart and see what jets are in it and what stuff we're gonna do. Probably gonna get all new fuel line for this, like blue fuel line. But yeah, this carb's pretty fresh though, shiny. But let's take this slide out. All right, I took the slide off. Those two little bolts that were holding it on were not tight at all. I took this carb off. I'm looking in here. Like, there's like round, like, see those little like grips in there? Like, I think this carb could be like, they could have opened it up a little bit from stock. That really makes me wonder if this is a big bore or it's bored over or not, because, well, the head says it's stock, but you can get it bored over. I don't know if that's bored over, but this carb looks like it's opened up. I don't know. I'm gonna have to measure it eventually to see what the stock is, see what this is, but it kind of looks to me like that. It was opened up a little bit. But let's take this bowl off this carb and see what jets and stuff are in it. Alright, I just opened up this card. It has a stock jet in it. It looks very clean. The float works. I'm still going to take it all apart though and clean it. So I'm going to get a carb rebuild kit. And I'm just going to rebuild the carb. But other than that, the carb's really good. There was no dirt in here. There's no nothing. Very clean. Yeah. So we're probably going to rebuild that carb button up eventually when we get that carb rebuild kit. But for now, this carb is perfect. We're also going to get some gaskets for this because for some reason they didn't have any. But we'll get some gaskets. This carb will be all touched up. There's going to be a whole build on this thing. We're doing plastics, exhaust, everything, radiator. It's going to be mint by the time we're done with it. All the little brackets for everything.